Hi friends, Judy here from an Aussie in a Kiwi world. Thank you for coming back to check out what I've got in this update. And today is Monday the 21st of April 2025. I'm just here with an update of what I've been working on the last couple of weeks. I've got some personal information that I'd like to share with you closer to the end. I know some people don't like the personal stuff, so I'll leave that to the end. I do have a couple of WIPs to show you what I've been working on, and also some fabric that I've been dyeing with a girlfriend, Letitia. We had a dyeing day and we dyed lots and lots of different colours, lots of experiments, but it was a fun day and got some beautiful fabric out of it. So without waiting any further, let me just show you what we've got here and we'll go from there. So first of all, I'll show you the finish that I've actually been able to do. So this is actually something that's from Cross Stitch Foxy. She is on Etsy and she's got quite a few really cool designs. I needed something that was going to be for a friend of mine that I worked with, and she's a little bit gutted that we're trying to sell the house and we're going to move over to Australia. So I decided that I would stitch her something that she would be able to have as a memento or a memory of us being friends. We will obviously continue being friends, but this will just be something that every time she looks at it, she remembers it's me. So this is Good Friends Are Like Stars. You don't always see them, but you know they're always there. So this was, as I said, it was just on Etsy. It wasn't a huge amount of money, maybe only a few dollars. I've had it for quite some time. I've got quite a few of hers. I'll pop the details of it down in the description. I did make one small change, just where this love heart is. It was actually like a star, and I've changed it so that it's just got a love heart to show that I do love her. She's a lovely friend, and I'd be lost without her. So that is what I've called Friend Stars, which is a pretty cool design. Now I started that on the 18th of April and I finished it in the early hours of this morning. And I do have a frame that I'm going to actually try to see whether it fits, and I'll see if I can frame it myself. If not, I will take it down to the framer and get them to frame it for me instead. But it was a really cool project to work on. And this is actually one of the fabrics that I did dye myself, just with a neon yellow RIT dye. So it does actually fade out a little bit when I'm on the camera, but see if I can. That is pretty true. Some parts are quite bright and some parts aren't. Yeah, this is one of the fabrics that we did dye. The next one that I put a couple of stitches in was the caterpillar cross stitch, and that was Hello Petal. And I think I showed this on my last video. Oops, sorry about the glare. Which I had just worked on and finished the little sheep, and now I'm moving up to the tree. Now I haven't done a huge amount on here, but I just picked it up for one afternoon when I had a little bit of like 20 minutes or something to actually stitch with. So that is what it would look like finished, and I've still got it in the Q-snap, sorry, and this is what it's looking like now. So as you can see, the sheep down there. So I filled in, I think a couple of these leaves were already here, or maybe I've done those, but there was some green already on there. I'll put a before photo just up here for the comparison. But I have just done this flower here, and I've sort of extended up the green so I will just fill whatever I can in this Q-snap and then move it around so that I can fill it up as I go. That's quite a fun project to do. And as I mentioned in the last video, I have actually finished 2 already, and then now I've just got the other 2 to go. So I think they will be quite quick to finish. So I'll try to put some more effort and time into finishing those. The other 2 that I've been working on was the Long Dog Sampler, the Fish and Ships, and also Fishies Going On. I will put what they're going to look like when they're finished just here, and I'll also put a before photo. So this is Fish and Ships, where I'm up to, and I'm not sure whether I've actually worked on this since my last video. I think I did do a little bit of it just up the side here, this side here. So I'm at 51.85% on this one, which is really cool. I was trying to alternate the two designs so that I could do 25% on one and then move across to the other, just to give me a little bit of a variety. Well, that didn't actually work too successful, because on the fishes going on, I just kept going and kept stitching. So this is all the stitching done on the project, and now I've just got the back stitching to do. I love this project so much, I couldn't put it down. I literally stayed up till like 4 o'clock in the morning to try to get it done. I loved it so much. So that's all done. Now, I do just have a little bit of a warning for those that haven't started it but would like to start it. When you load this pattern into Pattern Keeper, it doesn't pick up, well, it didn't for me, and it also didn't for Letitia when she checked it on hers on Pattern Keeper. It didn't pick up where the 5-line overlap is on the top of these bottom pages. So when I loaded it in there, you will see my actual cat here is only 3, the thickness is only 3. I will put a photo, just a close-up photo here, to show you what it actually should be like on the proper pattern. And it's actually meant to be 4. So how I worked that out was when I was doing the bubbles up the side here, I got to here and all of a sudden there was a 3-stitch gap or a 2-stitch gap in between 2 of these bubbles, which I knew wasn't correct because on the front page it didn't show that. So I had a look, and what it had done is it had missed one whole line across the middle here. Now, you can't notice it. If I didn't tell you, you wouldn't notice it. And for Megan's sake, I still think it's perfect, but I do just need to explain the error so that nobody else falls for the same trap. So when it took out that line across, you'll see that at the bottom of this ring, it's got like a 4-leaf clover. At the top here, it's missing the middle line here that actually should have the 2 missing stitches. And it also doesn't finish off the bottom of this circle. So when I worked that out, I was just working in, I sort of got to here and I'd started doing the shark, which is where I worked out the error. So what I've done is I kept going with the same Pattern Keeper load that I put in, and I kept going to do these 3 rings. And then what I've done is I reloaded the pattern into Pattern Keeper and done the advanced model, so that I uploaded it to see all the steps as it went across. And what I found is on the bottom 3 pages where it had actually missed one line, it actually shows that it only had 209 rows going up and down, and it should have been 210. So you do need to manually change the grid amount on the in Pattern Keeper to show it's got 210, and then realign your grid so it's going to obviously include all of the lines. So I will put a couple of photos here just to actually show you where the error is. It will show a little bit of a snippet of the pattern, but I don't think that's a concern to actually show that little section, but it does cause a problem in Pattern Keeper. And I thought it might have just been me, but when Letitia had come over and she loaded her copy of the pattern, it done the same for her on her Pattern Keeper. So I'll give you a little bit of a screenshot to show you where those errors are. If you do have any concerns and you're not sort of keeping up with what I'm mentioning, please just message me and I'm happy to talk through what I've done or how to fix it, which is great. But I do absolutely love this project. Now all I've got to do is just get the back stitching done on here and I'll be finished. So I was going to put it back in and do the back stitching prior to showing my video, but I'd ironed it and I wanted to keep it all nice and crisp before I actually put it back in the Q-snap. So that'll be my next step, is to actually go and do the back stitch on there, which will be pretty exciting. So that's all that I've been working on, just those couple of projects. As you're aware, the house is on the market and we're trying to obviously pack boxes and things like that. So I haven't had a huge amount of stitching time, but I have been staying up quite late, from like sort of 6, I've been stitching from sort of 6 o'clock through to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So I still get a big chunk of stitching time, which is how I've managed to finish that. Just not anything through the day because I've been quite busy catching up with friends and things like that. So the next thing that I wanted to show you was some fabric dyeing that we've been doing. So I just went through my stash, sorry for the big close-up. I went through my stash and just grabbed any kind of white fabric that I could find so that I could put it in a colour. And this was what I come up with. So all these gorgeous colours that we had actually done. So Letitia and myself. So I'm going to show you through just a few of them, just to give you a bit of a close-up of what we've done and how they've actually come out. So this is just, some of them are really random size pieces. Some of them are cut in an L shape because I've just cut fabric off and things like that. So this is just a long piece. Now this was a beige colour fabric, and I've just put the neon yellow over the top, scrunched it up and put it into a jar and poured the dye on. So I think that's come out really cool. So same colour as the one that I'd done the first project on. And this was from the white. This is with a white fabric, not a beige fabric. So it's got quite some nice modelling on there. Not too much, which is what I sort of wanted. And now these pieces will just be used randomly as I need a piece of fabric to stitch something. So most of my projects, for those that have been following for quite some time, are quite full coverage or quite big projects. And I wanted some that I could just literally pick up a design and start stitching quite quickly on. And one of them that I've just started, which I didn't bother showing because it's only got like 33 stitches, was just a little cat, and it's literally 50 by 50, so it's not a huge amount, but pieces like this will actually come in handy for doing designs like that I can just grab a piece and throw it on. Now this is actually coral. It looks a bit orange. See if I can change the colouring. It is more of a pinky colour, if I can try to get that. So it come out really, really nice. And just another piece, same size, but I done the same. This is a bigger piece. It is folded again and again. But these were all just screwed up and chucked into a bucket. The dye was poured on top with some fixative, and yeah, we just rinsed it out, and then until there was no more dye, and then we just popped it on the line, let it dry, and then I've just ironed it. So same colour again, but not so much, it's not so dark. This is the what's it called, fuchsia, and this is a piece of even weave, so a nice pink colour. Now I believe that this fabric was actually a cream fabric to start with, so it did actually come out, the model was a little bit different, which was cool. Same fuchsia, but just on a piece of Ada, and as you can see this piece is cut out, but that's okay because I can cut up the little pieces. So this has come out on the Ada, quite nice with the modelling. This is the violet, just on a piece of even weave. This is quite a big piece of fabric. It's got some really nice colours. It's so much fun like that. You can just get a bottle of like dye and then play around with some fabric, and all of a sudden you come out with these beautiful things. So I know we all spend lots of money on stash of buying lovely fabric and the colours and things like that, but I think the experience of actually being able to dye them yourself is not only cost effective because it's much cheaper. You're paying, or here you're paying sort of $14 or $13 for a bottle of RIT dye, which could last you quite a few different dyeing sessions. So $13, and then you're paying for your fabric, which might be, I don't know, $45 for a metre by metre, whatever it costs for that. And then you can dye it in all different colours It's yeah, I just think that that's part of the experience, is being able to dye it. I mean, I'm very guilty of buying fabric in the past, being in fabric clubs and things like that, but I had such a stash of fabric, and you can't always guarantee that you're going to like the colors that you receive. So this way you make the color, you choose it if you like it. If you don't like it, you can just over dye it. So this one was one of the greens, which has just come out quite pale, which is cool. It's more green than it is actually blue. See if I can block out a little bit of that light, or maybe I need a little bit more light. So that's actually quite nice, and a bigger piece of fabric for me to put a bigger design on. Same color, but just on Ada is come out where it's darker. There was a camel color, which is just on a piece of Ada, which is just a beige. It's quite nice. I love this one. This one's orange. It was, I think, tangerine that we used. So it'll be nice for like a Halloween design. And that's more probably like the colour. And a couple of blue. This is just an even weave. Blue pieces, random size. And a piece of Ada in the same one. And this is probably my favourite out of the whole lot, so I'm going to show you the whole project. The whole piece of fabric. So this is going to fit some really cool designs on it. So what I'd actually done with this fabric is folded it in half like this to get this little bit of a modelling thing. Screwed it up by pulling it like this. And then I just twisted it around like that. It was all wet, so it sort of bent easier, obviously. And then just shoved it into the jar like that. So there was quite a lot of darker colour on the top here because of the way that I've done it. But yeah, it come out with a real nice tie-dye effect just here, which was nice and straight, but now it's creased up. But yeah, it had all really nice things there. So that was my dyeing experience. That's just some of them. That's not obviously all the pieces that were done, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what was there, which was really fun. So I look forward to being able to use those as I need them. Okay, so that's all the stitching things. Into the personal things. So if you don't want to actually hang around, you're quite welcome to leave, and I appreciate that you've come along and hung around for this time. But you may want to hang around to find out a little bit more information about what I'm about to say from my personal life in relation to changes going forward. So last video, I'd mentioned that the house was on the market. We still hadn't had a buyer, and I recorded my video. Everything was all fine. I edited the video and went to upload the video, and while I was uploading the video, had a phone call from our agent to say that someone was actually giving us an offer on the property, so which was very exciting. So going back and forth a little bit with some offers and counter offering and things like that, we finally come up with an agreement of what we were actually willing to accept. And then the 10-day period had to wait for due diligence and for finance and things like that. So I am really, really happy to say that our property is actually now sold, and we are packing up the property ready to move across to Australia. So we are flying out on the 4th of May, which is actually really cool because it means that Craig can fly with me and not have to come back because the house was still on the market. So we are really, really excited that we can now move on to this next adventure. So I'll just pop a picture up here of where it shows that our house is sold. For those that are friends with me on Facebook and Instagram, you would have seen that we've already posted on there. That was a little bit too hard to actually contain myself before posting, and we wanted to get that out to some family and friends that are not so much of my stitcher related, that don't come and watch these videos. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but hopefully they don't. So that was a sort of a little bit of a sneak peek beforehand, so which is actually really cool. So it will bring me on to the next part. I am actually, a few videos ago, I asked for some assistance in changing our name for when we go to Australia. And I do want to sort of try to keep it within the Aussie and the Kiwi sort of way. With me being an Australian and my husband being a Kiwi, I did want to keep it the same. And we will be doing some traveling videos as well. So as mentioned, I will do my videos, which will actually be named Flosstube. And there'll also be some content on there that are going to be for the traveling part of it. I'm not going to try to mix them together so that if you're only here for one side of the video, then you don't have to worry about listening to all the garbage about the traveling side, or vice versa. So I will do that. We are going to change my channel to an Aussie and a Kiwi go traveling. So that will sort of keep along the lines of me being an Aussie in a Kiwi world, and it'll also bring in the fact that we are going to go traveling as well. So in that situation, I just want to actually pause this video, and I would like to go and grab my husband, bring him in here and introduce you to him, and just so you can sort of know what we're of the sort of mix up or whatever that we're going forward. You'll see him on the screen as well. So if you can just wait one moment and I will go and grab him. Hey guys, we're back. I just want to introduce you, all my friends, to my husband Craig.
Hello everybody, that's me.
He's a bit shy. He will get a little bit better when he starts videoing and things like that. He puts up with me. I'm sure that he'll be able to cope with video and talking to himself. So I just wanted to actually introduce him so that you know who to see when I video in the future. So yeah.
Oh, with me.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. He's now off to go and do whatever he's doing, packing or cleaning the shed and things like that. And I won't keep you guys any longer because I've got boxes to pack myself. So at this stage we are out we fly out on the 4th of May and we arrive over into Sydney about 10:30 in the morning. So from there we just have to, obviously we're going over with suitcases. We'll wait for our luggage to arrive or our boxes and stuff to arrive. They say about 10 to 12 weeks later, so that'll be fine. We'll stay on the stay put at my brother's where we're moving to in Colyton. We'll stay there for that time, and then that'll give us time to obviously buy a vehicle and things like that. So we're really, really excited. As much as there's probably not much excitement here, it's probably because we've got so much on our plate that we need to do. But as you can see, my craft room is nearly empty. There's not much around to pack in here. We're at the very end stages of packing now that we've had 2 weeks since the house is, we've got the offer. We've pretty much sort of just started packing up and everything before we waited for the unconditional day so that we could be ready and set to go, because settlement was the 30th of April. So it's been lovely chatting with you. Thanks guys for hanging around. If you've stayed on this long, thanks very much. And we will be in touch. Hopefully I'll get another video in before we move out of the house, just to give you an update on any sort of stitching I've done. And after that, it won't be till we arrive in Sydney. So either way, it'll be the last one in this house, or it'll be my first one back in the family home with my brother. So thanks very much for staying, guys. Thanks for subscribing. And one last thing, I just want to thank the lovely people that have actually donated to the Ko-Fi account. The money comes in handy for postage and things when I send out items and stuff like that. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day and happy stitching. See you later. Bye bye.